partons donc au Portugal et en Espagne, précisément aux Canaries et aux Açores. Alors, je vous invite à accueillir M. David Almeida, qui est Project Manager d'une structure qui s'appelle IIN Expo Network, et Javier Pérez, qui est également Project Manager de ProExca aux îles Canaries. Qui commence? Messieurs, bonjour. J'ai envie de dire nice to meet you, parce que tant qu'à faire, ça m'arrange de parler seulement anglais et pas portugais et espagnol. Et en portugais, okay. je disais toujours bon dia.
Bon dia, good morning, bonjour.
Allez, on vous laisse la parole, messieurs. Vous allez vous présenter le fait que vos îles, également européennes, soient ouvertes à des opportunités d'affaires internationales. Merci, on vous écoute pendant une petite heure.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you. Good morning to everyone. Well, I would like to thank you very much for coming today to this presentation. And also I would like to thank the Chamber of Commerce of Martinique, Team France, or the EIN to organize this event and give us the opportunity to, well, explain the business opportunities in the Canary Islands. My name is Javier Pérez Solans, and I represent the Economic Development Agency of the Canary Islands. And today I will show you briefly, and as I said before, the opportunities of investing in the Canary Islands. Okay, so well, I think everybody knows that we are in a very competitive world, and this competition is becoming harder, not for the big companies, but for the small and medium enterprise also. And these challenges are related with fine talent. High-skilled employees are scarce, are hard to find, and also to retain. Also, downsize the operational cost and taxes are very important to the companies to be profitable. So we think that this main challenge can be solved in the Canary Islands, as we really think that we have the tools to overcome these challenges. Next, please. Okay, so every time when I'm doing any presentation, when I say Canary Islands, many of you will think the Canary Islands as a place where you can spend your holidays. And that's true. I mean, we have a very nice climate and leisure, but we really think that we can offer much more than sun and beach. For example, what we can offer is the best taxation in the European Union, also a unique R&D incentives in order to boost your innovation, and a very competitive operational cost compared with the major cities in the European Union. As I mentioned earlier, the Canary Islands offer also an ideal place to live and work with top education for the employees and their families. We have international schools. We have a high-level service in healthcare, leisure. We have shopping, cultural activities, sports. You name it, you have it. Regarding the challenges that I mentioned before, talent is one of the most important. And I would like to mention that we have a difference between local talent that we have from our 2 public universities and 3 private universities with a wide range degrees and in engineering and other fields, and also the international talent. I think it's important to highlight that because of our quality of life, many digital nomads come to the Canary Islands to work and live, and that increases the talent pool available. Finally, some islands, island councils, they offer, depending on the project, free tailored training programs. So those companies that are mainly focused on they are based in technology. The island councils offers free tailored training programs so you can upskill the knowledge of your employees. Well, as well as Martinique and other outermost regions, we belong to the European Union. But well, what I want to show you here is that you will have the same benefits. You can apply for the same funds. Also that all our incentives are approved by the European Commission. We are not a tax haven, and also we have the support of the Spanish government. Also, for those that may not know where we are in ideal position. The Canary Islands, we are between 3 continents. We are between Europe, America, and Africa. Makes our location very convenient for doing business in West Africa, while being easily to access to major European cities. For example, there are more than 500 direct flights to United Kingdom, or 400 flights to Germany. So we want to be a hub for all business that you wanted to do in Western Africa. So, well, maybe this is one of the most important slides, because maybe you are thinking, okay, where are the business opportunities? What are the priority sectors in the Canary Islands? So the Canary Island has been an investment destination, has been experienced a steady growth in attraction of companies that are established in our territory to develop activities related mostly with knowledge and based technology. So in the last few years, also in the pandemic year, we have not only slowed down this activity, but we have worked as a driver of technology industries. So the main industries right now are all of them related with technology and outsourcing, audiovisual content, biotech, R&D, the blue economy, also the aeronautical and aerospace, and renewable energy. So, and one of the, some success stories are, for example, Atos, that is like a French company, a consultancy in technology, and also a data consulting, secret sources, and many more. Yeah, as I mentioned before, the Canary Islands offer opportunity for those companies that carry out R&D and technological innovation activities. And that's possible because we have top-tier infrastructures with international recognition. We have technological institutes, top-tier infrastructures such as the Oceanic Platform. We have a network of technological parks in which you can support or collaborate in the development of your R&D. So you will not be alone. So now we are talking about the tax incentives. I would like to say that the tax incentives is the ice on the cake. It's not the most important thing, but it's like because if you don't have business opportunities, if you don't have talent, if you don't have connectivity, then the tax incentives doesn't matter. So when I talk about tax incentives and the fact that we have some of the lowest in Europe, the objective is not to pay less taxes, but is to be more competitive. Having a low corporate tax allows the companies to lower, for example, their margins without losing profits, or maybe increasing costs. For example, to attract more specialized talent with higher salaries, you can do it without giving up profits, because although you have more cost, because at the end you will pay less taxes, the net benefit profits will be the same, could be the same. So all of these can make your company more competitive and able to grow. So again, when you say that corporate tax, right, in the Canary Islands, that is the 4% corporate income tax, don't think that good, I will pay less tax. I think we encourage you to think, okay, good, I can be more competitive because I can hire more qualified personnel, or I can lower my prices without all of that, without having to reduce my profits. So talking about the 4% corporate income tax, those companies that are meets some requirements, they are entitled to have that 4% corporate income tax. And what you also have to bear in mind that those tax incentives is because you will create employment and you will be in a new activity, in something that is permitted by the consortium of the Canary Island Special Zone. If you want more information, because I don't want to bore you with all the requirements, there are only 5, but okay, you can email me and I will explain you everything. So, well, we have also other tax incentives. I think the second most important, in my opinion, is the deduction, the tax credit that you have to if you do R&D. So, and also is you can apply for a technological innovation. That means that you can have a tax credit of 45% on all the expenses that you do on R&D, and the possibility to monetize that. That means that if, for example, you spend 100,000 euros in R&D, you can have a tax credit of 45,000 euros. Then if you want to monetize, that means that Spanish Treasury give you that money, they will give you that money with a haircut of 20%. But you can have that money to continue doing that R&D. Also, we have a different also tax incentives like 25% of tax credit for acquisition of new fixed assets, or for example, a 50% rebate on the production of goods in the Canary Islands, or a 21% deduction for annual training expenses. And for example, another one is 15% tax credit on the annual expenses on propaganda and publicity in international expansion. Also, we have the Canary Island Investment Reserve, which allows you a reduction of the undistributed net income of the corporate tax up to 90%. So you can reinvest that amount in the company itself. So as you can see, we have a different range of tax incentives, and some of them you can combine it. We always recommend to have those tax incentives in mind, and maybe try to try to combine them. Next slide, please. So how we can help you? So we as a public company, we can give free advice about the tax incentives. We can put in contact with other administrations, public administrations. We can do advice about the business in the Canary Islands. Also, we have different service to the companies that are Canarian. For example, you can also leverage on our international network. We have office branches in Morocco, in Senegal. We will open a new one in Senegal, in the United States. We will have another in London, in Brussels, in Berlin, and in Sweden, in Stockholm. So you can leverage in all of these things that we can do. Other thing that another program that we have is one is named a Tender Boost. That is this is an international bidding program launched by Proesca together with the Chambers of Commerce of the Canary Islands, with the aim of supporting the Canary Islands companies to internationalize, taking advantage of the opportunities that offers to participate in international bidding process. So this program, what to do is bring together the main bidding companies of the islands, both public and private, with experience in international and multilateral projects, and put them in contact with financing bodies and project agency with the aim of exporting the know-how that the Canarian companies have and makes them competitive. So here maybe, yeah, I can see could be some synergies because if Martinique companies have some expertise in the Caribbean Sea, maybe you can join with another Canarian company that has another expertise and going together to another international bids, like like the bid, the TB, the international Banco International, the Bank International, some international bodies. Sorry. Next one, please. One before, that's it. Finally, I would like to introduce you the investment attraction team. We are divided in sectors, in industries, but we will be happy to answer any question that you may have. So I encourage you to write us at invest@mark.es. Thank you very much for your attention and well, have a nice day.
Les questions vont arriver après, donc je vous propose d'écouter tout de suite Monsieur David Almeida.
Good morning, everyone. My name is David Almeida. I'm an advisor at the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Ponta Delgada and the project manager of the Enterprise Europe Network. Before I start my presentation, I would like to thank Laurie and the Martinique Chamber of Commerce for the invitation to participate in le rendezvous de l'international de Team France Export, to thank Team France Export, and to thank all the Chamber of Commerce involved. I also like to compliment all the presence there in the audience. Good morning. So I will divide my presentation into 3 parts. In the first part, I will make a small approach to the economy of the Azores. Then I will talk about the Chamber of Commerce, and finally to talk about the Enterprise Europe Network and how can and the Enterprise Europe Network help you doing business in the Azores or in any other part of Europe. So the Azores, I will briefly give you a note about the history of the economy of the Azores, not taking too long. The Azores went through several economic cycles in their history. Wheat was an initial thriving crop, even serving as a monetary standard. It came to be exported in great quantity. However, the land got tired and the corn began to replace it. The sugarcane production was also tried, as in Madeira Island, but the climate conditions were not that favorable, so it was discouraged. Then the pastel was introduced. The pastel are dye plants, like the Urzel or even the pastel, that were exported mainly to Flanders. And almost simultaneously, the first farms are formed, and with the introduction of many and varied fruit trees, especially citrus trees. The orange tree culture in the archipelago dates back to the 16th century. With some orchards in San Miguel and Terceira. Only in the 18th century did the production of the orange destined to exportation reach the owners of the region and the general Azorean population. That happened for more than 100 years. The maximum of the export took place in the year of 1860. But since 1834, orange groves have been plagued with 2 scourges that, in the long run, contributed to the final crisis and ends up closing their exports. And that was the end of the mythical orange cycle that lasted from 1750 to 1870. So next slide. Okay, thank you. Just a quick side note to say that the city of Ponta Delgada is largest in the Azores and represents about 30% of the total population. So I don't have a big map. The other slide, please. The former one. No, the first one. Yeah, thank you. I don't have a big map to show where the Azores are at the globe, but well, I think you know the Azores are in the middle of the Atlantic, strategically positioned, and are an entrance door to Europe also. 4 hours away from the United States, 2 hours away from the mainland by flight. We represent more or less 2% of the total population, 2.2% of the total population of Portugal, and we have an area of 2.5% of Portugal. The population is divided in between 9 islands, and as you can see, the biggest island is San Miguel, with more than half of the population. The next slide, please. So, how is our productive structure organized? So the gross domestic product represents 2.2% of the Portuguese GDP, and the gross domestic product per capita, it's more or less like the Portuguese, global Portuguese, the total Portuguese. It's 96.9% of the total Portuguese GDP per capita. The contribution of the tertiary sector to the economy is large, has grown a lot in the recent years. But I must say that this 80%, the tourism represents more or less half of this 80%. The other 40%, it's the public administration services, immovable properties services, the commerce sector, but the tourism represents more or less, contributes more or less 40% to the economy. So regarding the agriculture and agro industry, the dairy sector is a fundamental pillar of the Azores economy. Due to the soil and climate conditions, the region enjoys competitive advantages in this sector compared to a significant part of the Portuguese productive territory. In 2021, the amount of milk delivered surpasses slightly 644 million liters. And although the territory of the Azores represents in area only 2% of the national territory, the total milk produced represents over 30% of the total national production. Traditionally, the dairy industry consisted mostly of small industrial units located close to the producing regions. Currently, due to the developments of storage techniques and preservation of fresh milk, the tendency is to concentrate production in larger units. However, in some Azorian islands, there are still small dairies in which the manufacturing process is carried out in an artisanal way, namely in the manufacture of cheese. Regarding to the dairy sector, yet the National Association of Dairy Producers, just you to have a few figures about the production of dairy products. According to the National Association of Dairy Producers, the cheese represents 50% of total Portuguese production. Milk package 31%, milk powder 75%, and butter 25% of total Portuguese production. So this, as you can see, reflects the importance of this sector for the Azores. Another side note to mention the meat of the Azores. Some farmers went to start exploring the cows to produce meat, to transform in meat and not only for milk. And the meat from the Azores is certified with PGI, protected geographical indication, because livestock is almost exclusively pasture fed, guaranteeing the quality of the meat. The main crop in the Azores regarding agriculture is corn silage. The corn plant is shredded during the harvest using machines and tractors, and then stored and served as feed for the cows. Other main crops, another slide please. Other main crops are potatoes with 15 tons produced in 20. Sorry, don't give you the date. It's 2021, I think. Yes, 15 tons of potatoes, 8,300 hectoliters of wine. Bananas represent almost 4,000 tons, same as orange. And then we have sweet potato, 1.7 tons, and pineapple, ananas São Miguel, and I'll get to there, with 1.3 tons, 1.3 thousand tons. I could not miss the opportunity to talk about two productions that are very dear to us and are part of our history. The first one is the tea production. São Miguel is currently the only European region to produce tea. That is the only region. Anywhere else in Europe you find a production of tea commercially. In 2020 were produced 37 tons of tea here in São Miguel. It's mainly for local consumption, but there are also exports to Germany, Canada, Austria, and Switzerland. The pineapple of São Miguel was introduced around 1840, 1850, being marketed in Europe for over a century. It's produced differently from the American countries that produce pineapples, because they are produced in greenhouses using traditional cultivation techniques with the application of fumes and the use of hot beds based on vegetable material. And after a period of 1.5 to 2 years, that's the time that it takes to have one pineapple, okay, from 1.5 to 2 years. From planting to harvesting, a fruit of excellent qualities and aroma is obtained. In 2020, were produced 1.3 tons of pineapples. Ananas São Miguel, it's how it is called. It's a PDO. It's a protected designation of origin. Another slide, please. Thank you. So the Azorian exclusive zone currently represents 55% of the Portuguese exclusive economic zone and approximately 7% of the European exclusive economic zone. The area has approximately 1 million square kilometers. The large scale and wealth of the seafloor in this zone offer great potential to explore rare and precious metals resources. I mean, total unloaded fish in the Azores ports in 2019 was just over 8,300 tons, which represents a value of almost 34 million euros. Of the total fish unloaded in the Azores, tuna fish represents about half of this quantity. The canned tuna industry occupies a prominent position in the archipelago's exports, and its products are present in about 30 countries. The main markets are Spain and Italy. Now, regarding the tourism sector, tourism, next slide, please. Tourism is without a doubt the key sector for our islands. The liberalization of the airspace of the islands of São Miguel and Terceira took place in March 2015. And in that same year, the number of passengers disembarked at the Açores airports increased by 21% compared to 2014. Until then, only the regional airline, SATA, operated inter-island flights and flights between the islands and the mainland, Portugal. After 2015, and with the liberalization, other companies start operating in the Azores, like EasyJet, Ryanair, even TAP, the Portuguese company. And if you look at the total numbers, next slide, please, we can see the impact this had on tourism. The total number of overnight stays practically doubled in 5 years, from 1.5 million total overnight stays to 3 million overnight stays in 2019. I do not include data from 2020 or 2021 for the reasons that everyone already knows, the COVID-19 pandemic. Currently, the numbers are more or less at the same level than that as in 2019. So it is slowly start to recover. I think it has recovered to numbers from 2019. One last slide regarding tourism to show the origin of the tourists that visit us, as could not be otherwise. The origin of the great majority of the tourists that visit us is from the mainland Portugal, followed by United States, where we have a large community of immigrants. Germany, sorry, it's not translated, I'm sorry for that. Germany, Spain, and the fifth emitting country is France. So now I will talk a little bit about the Chamber of Commerce. It's a commercial association of the islands of São Miguel and Santa Maria, the Oriental Highlands of our islands are divided in 3 groups: the Oriental Islands, the Center Islands, and the Occidental Islands. And we have 3 chambers of commerce in the Azores. Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Ponta Delgada is responsible for the island of São Miguel and Santa Maria. So it's a private non-profit organization and was set up in 1835. So it has a lot of years now. Next slide, please. We act at 3 fundamental levels. So we are a social partner, as we defend employers, particularly in the areas of collective bargaining and social level affairs. Economic partner, to monitor and defend issues that concern the interests of local economic agents, and promoter of commercial relations with foreign countries, organizing business missions, trade fairs, disseminating business opportunities, and supporting internationalization of local companies. Among our service, we have advisory and information service in legal and economic areas, funding, employment, exports, European affairs, the establishment of companies, applications for certificates of admissibility and provision card of legal person, industrial property, the preparation and instruction of trademark, application procedures, names of establishment, logos, etc. Instruction to permit process for the civil construction and public works sector. We also have a vocational school, so we do some professional and business training. We have a fairs and promotion affair department, a fair and exhibition department also, so where we promote our local products, and we accompany our SMEs abroad in business missions and in the participation of fairs abroad. We have 16 conventions in various activities. We negotiate collective bargaining agreements with trade unions. And we maintain the privileged relations with numerous associations, national, foreign, which are materializing cooperation protocols. So in recent years, CCPD has developed several activities, being a promoter and partner of European national cooperation projects like Interreg, Macaronesia, and other with ESDR or ESF funding. We also contribute to the definition of tools and services to be offered to SMEs and their adaptation to the European Innovation Hub's policies. And we are a founding member of the recently created Digital Innovation Hub of the Açores. And finally, we are also the host structure of the contact point of the Enterprise Europe Network in Portugal for the Açores region. So the Enterprise Europe Network, it's the contact point here in the Chamber of Commerce if someone wants to do business here in the Açores. If someone wants to internationalize their business, if someone wants to know whatever it is about our economy or how to establish here in the Açores. So it's been 15 years it was created in 2008. And we have a different approach now because the needs of the SMEs are changing, and so are we. So what can we do for you? We ensure businesses are investor ready and enable access to right sources of financial. This is extremely important for startups. We introduce companies to the right business partners. We can serve as an intermediary in presenting companies to the partners, and then companies do their job in convincing the partners. We bring innovative ideas to commercial success. We can make the bridge between the academia, for example, and the SMEs. With technology transfer, for example. We help companies access international markets beyond Europe. For example, we have a lot of protocols with other countries. The EU has protocols with other countries, and the European Union and the Enterprise Europe Network has contact points in those markets. So we can help companies access international markets beyond Europe. We guide companies towards the more sustainable business models. So we can help companies get funding to get certified in Eco Label, for example, or EMAS in the tourism, or any other type of certification in sustainability. We also tailor digital solutions to businesses' needs. In fact, we have a lot of sector groups in the Enterprise Europe Network, and each of these sector groups deals with different topics that are very important to the SMEs, as sustainability, tourism, digital sector group, internationalization sector group. So there's a focus in one of these aspects. We built up business agility and resilience to challenges, supply chain disruptions. This happened quite recently with not only first with the COVID pandemic, and now with the war in Ukraine. A lot of supply chain were disrupted, so we can help companies tackle with that problem. If they don't have any more supplier of certain product, we can help companies to get a new supplier, to find a new supplier, or any other sources to get their raw materials, for example. We enable business to reap the opportunities of the EU single market. That's our main focus, is the EU single market, so we can help businesses to make business in the EU single market. So small and medium-sized enterprises get free support for more than 450 network partners in over 40 countries worldwide. These are some numbers that happen every single day. So every single day we help 835 small companies to get help to innovate and grow internationally. 535 companies receive specialized guidance and training sessions. 112 enterprises benefit from our experts in-depth tailored advice. And 5 companies sign partnership agreements every single day. So this results in 92% client satisfaction, because we measure this client satisfaction every year. I think they are good numbers. So we expect that we can help you, and you can contact us for that reason. So last slide is an event that will that we are promoting here, the Chamber of Commerce and the Enterprise Europe Network. It's called Islands of Innovation Matchmaking event, and will take place in parallel with the annual conference of EPSI. EPSI is the European platform for sports innovation. They contact us, and we accepted the challenge to put online a platform for a business to business matchmaking event. It will occur from 5th to 7th June in Ponta Delgada in São Miguel. It's the main island of São Miguel and the biggest island in the Açores. And they are organizing this in cooperation with the regional government of the Açores. So we will organize this matchmaking event in parallel with this EPSI event, trying to make the most of it. The topics and sectors addressed are tourism, sports and social innovation in these sectors. So if you are a company, a startup, an investor, a university, association, or government organization, you are welcome to participate. The event is completely free of charge, and everything happens in the platform. The products and service showcase, the contacts, the online meetings, everything happens in the platform. You can do everything there. And you will have the opportunity, if you participate, to publish and showcase your products, projects, service, business needs, identify potential partners, and establish relations with business contacts, share ideas, experiences, initiate and arrange pre-scheduled meetings with a counterpart, and discuss and develop new project ideas at an international level. So if you are interested in participate, just follow the link on the slide, and click on the registration link and follow from there. It's easy. You have to fill a profile of your SME, what you are willing to offer, what you want to, what are you looking for, what you have to offer, and it's easy. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me or your EN local point. And I leave my contacts here. Next slide, please. If you have any questions about this presentation or want to do business in the Azores, I'm available to talk with you. And last but not least, I leave you with a short video, because a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? So thank you very much. And I expected that you like my presentation, and I'm available to reply to any questions that you might have. If you could watch the video now, it will be nice.
Obrigado, David. Gracias.
Okay.
Javier.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
OK.
Thank you very much.
Voilà, voici le moment qui vous permet de prendre la parole. Nous avons quelques minutes, donc pour prendre quelques questions. N'hésitez pas. Questions peut-être par Internet, s'il y en a. Non plus. Ouais. Il lui fallu que les exposés soient en créole.
Yes, okay. I have a question. Among you, the services that you presented, which ones are free and do you have paid services? For example, if a company wants to have an accurate information on a company to be a partner, for example, can they ask you? Can they get the information through you? And is it a paid service or is it a free of charge?
So if I understand, if a company wants to have specific information about the company here in the Azores, is that it?
Yes.
Okay. We have some information we can share, okay, but there are some information that we are not aware of. For example, we cannot substitute credit insurance companies. Do you understand what I mean? To see,
yeah.
is the company a good payer? Mm-hmm. Sometimes we don't have access to that information, and sometimes it's what companies want to know if that company is it's a good payer. Mm-hmm. So we have informations, of course, we can share, and from our members of the Chamber of Commerce, we can share information because we know them all. The other SMEs, we have limited information. We can do a research and ask and reply with as much as information we can collect, and it's free because it's in the scope of the Enterprise Europe network, so the information is completely free. But there are some information that we don't have access. Okay.
Okay.
Like if it's a good payer, its credit rating, we don't have that kind of information.
Okay. And are you able to provide to recommend some reliable companies?
Yes, we can do that. Yes, at least if they are members of the Chamber of Commerce. As I told you, we know our members. So okay, I'm not put my hands and burn my hands for them because they are okay now, but tomorrow I don't know. But I can give you some information of the SMEs, specifically is if they are, or particularly if they are our members, because those companies we know, and we know what they do, and we know if they are okay or not.
Okay. Same question to Javier.
Yeah, I mean, in the same way as David. I mean, we are not the Chamber of Commerce. We are another entity, a public entity, or the service that we do are for free. But for example, as he said, that company data, we cannot give it. But there is some companies with database that you can get that information. You have to pay maybe 20 euros or something like that, and you can get. Relating with private companies, I mean, what we do is to put in contact more with public companies, for example, with the environmental department of the Canary Island government or something like that. But when we have to recommend a private company, we prefer not to do it because maybe, as David says, okay, I can know that it's a good company, but imagine that I introduce you a company and tell you, oh, this is very good company, and then for whatever reason they rip you off, and then you come to me and blame on me like, oh, Javier, you recommend me this private company, he did this and that. So what we can do is, if you, for example, are looking for some company in a specific sector, you can ask me, oh, Javier, I'm looking for big hotels or tourism activities in the Canary Islands. So I can give you a list of that private companies, but then you have to talk with them directly. But we don't do this interchange between two private companies because of that. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Alors, avant de clôturer, donc, je remercie à nouveau David Almeida et Rafael Pérez. Merci, je le dis en français, puisque mon anglais n'est pas aussi bon que celui de Madame Cataillé.
J'avais commencé en portugais et en espagnol.
Oui, mais ça fait longtemps que je ne pratique plus. Merci beaucoup. Alors, je voudrais rappeler le programme de la journée. Il y a un certain nombre de rendez-vous B2B cet après-midi. Voilà, d'avoir un fichier qui correspond à ma ligne. Parfait. Donc, il y a un certain nombre de rendez-vous B2B. Cet après-midi, on va évoquer l'élargissement de son réseau international avec la team France Export. Non, voilà, c'est ça. Rendez-vous B2B sur les Canaries, les Açores, pardon, pour élargir son réseau à l'international. On va évoquer aussi au cours de l'atelier les astuces et dispositifs export permettant de financer l'export. Et on terminera la journée sur l'élargissement de son réseau à l'international. Et là, ça sera aussi un rendez-vous B2B. Je voudrais remercier toutes celles et ceux qui ont pris part à cette première matinée, remercier les étudiants qui ont fait leur activité. On espère que d'ici quelques années, vous serez des investisseurs et des chefs d'entreprise aguerris et nettement pratiques. Merci à la Chambre de commerce et d'industrie, merci à la team France Export et rendez-vous cet après-midi. Merci David, merci Raphaël.